Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with Nice House on the Lake, issue 4. I've been meaning to get back into this series, and I'm glad that I did, because this book reveals something that you're just thinking, oh my goodness, what would I do in this situation if I was not given this particular choice? Now, I like this character, David. He's kind of has that dark humor, which sadly, that's the type of people I identify with. And one thing about all these books that I enjoy is that each book focuses on one main character. Like the first one was Ryan, and then two I can't remember. I think it was Ryan, Rick and Sarah. Book 3 was Tom, and then this one's David. I think that's right. Anyway, I like how it opens up, and it's like in a sick way, kind of like a reality TV type thing where they're breaking the fourth wall, talking to the audience, and you can kind of see how they have like this post-apocalyptic look of the lake house being destroyed, everything on fire, and you're just wondering, what the hell has happened? And of course, we will get our reveal at the end, but I digress. I love how he's just talking about, I kept making the joke that if Walter wasn't going to keep feeding us, the rest of the little group of the little gray men, I totally got tongue-tied on that. Let's try that again. Take 2. I kept making the joke that if Walter wasn't going to keep feeding us, that probably meant the rest of the little gray men already removed our stomachs through our butts and replaced them with weird alien organs. Nobody laughed. But it's always the jokes that hit a bit too close to the truth that land the flattest. That's what I tell myself, at least. But anyway, we go into, just like we do with all the other characters, we get a flashback to how he knows Walter, and David here's kind of a hopeless romantic where he's essentially in the friend zone with a girl that he loves, but he's too afraid to make a move because he doesn't want to make it awkward and then not have that person in his life, which I'm sure all of us at one time or another can relate. Now, what I like in terms of visual storytelling here, other than the color palette, which is actually really beautiful, is he's saying, I was talking to a friend, I can't remember their name or who it was just for the life of me. So while he's talking, this person just keeps having this zoned out face, which kind of shows the hole in the memory, which I think is really cool. And then Walter, you can see how each person he picked for the lake house, as their little backstory concludes, Walter kind of makes an observation, like with David, everyone says that you're kind of an idiot. And he goes, you're right, you know. Of course I know. I'm always right. And Walter says, no, you're usually pretty stupid. But you see how things work, don't you? He's talking about how David here never lets on to more than what he knows. So anyway, what they come to find out is these boxes arrive. So this is kind of like an Amazon Prime type thing, which we'll talk about in a minute. But if they make a list of stuff that they need, it comes to their door the next day. And David here even says if they made like personal requests, that it would come privately. And if you all remember how each character has their own symbol, as the person who orders, that symbol is on their package so they know who's who. Now let's talk about who made the Nice House on the Lake. This is James Tynion, the 4th writer. Focus. Alvaro Martinez Bueno doing the art and cover, which these two were the creators of the book. Coming over here to Jordi Belair doing colors and world design lettering. Here's everyone else working on the book. Now this guy, David. This is day 27, so almost a month in this house. And you can see all the crap that he's ordered. Now, I know this is the end of the world, but if you happen to look right there, you can see that he has an Action Comics #1 and a Detective Comics 27, and they're just strewn like yesterday's used Playboy.
Get those things in some plastics and put them away.
Again, I know, petty, end of the world, but still, as a longtime comic collector, that just makes my skin pill to see that. Now, anyway, moving on past that, I like how we kind of take time to get to know David. He's like, I'm going to jump off the porch into the pool today. You're going to kill yourself. No, I can make it. No, you can't. You're going to kill yourself. The pool isn't even directly under the balcony. I can, and I'm going to do it naked. And a man at the end of the world has a right to do so, to hang some dong. And he's like, oh my God. And everyone's like, can you shut him up? I don't know yet. And this girl, I can't remember her name. But she goes, David, did you check the packages yet? And she's like, I keep trying, but it's not there. And you can kind of see how things kind of go from semi-lighthearted, or at least how this guy's trying to keep the conversation lighthearted, to look at how her face is shadowed, and you can see she is not doing well. And then we get other people who are trying to figure out how the packages come. David tells this person, I don't know if this is Ryan or who this person is, but he goes, right there, Ryan, we've tried all this. The boxes don't come if anybody's looking. I know. I guess I kept hoping for some kind of proof of boxes being delivered. Like if there were truck treads on the ground, that might mean there's some warehouse, or there might be other people working in the warehouse, rather than it all being artificial and made with the evil flesh tornado technology. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, he goes on to say, hey, I got your delivery of aliens on Prime, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I get it. So you can kind of see how everyone is keeping busy, how Rick and Sarah, I believe his wife's name is, have sort of taken over the main parts of the house, as we saw in issue 2, I think it was, trying to keep things as normal as they can. This guy, as we just talked about, David, trying to keep the peace, getting silly stuff to try to make people laugh, and for the sake of making himself laugh. Now, one thing that becomes a reoccurring thing throughout this book is he keeps saying, hey, quick question. You and Rick, did you drive in from New York, or did you fly into Madison? We must have flown. I hate long drives. So you kind of notice everyone just sort of like, when he asks that question, everyone just kind of brushes it off like, must have been this, must have been that. And granted, it's almost been a month, so. But usually you remember how you get to somewhere. So keep that in the back of your mind. And again, this girl shows up. I cannot remember her name, but she keeps saying, any luck on these packages? No. And as you can see, he gets sillier and sillier as the time comes. Like he's wearing like a very comic-y, pulp fiction-y looking outfit. And he goes, hey ladies, you decent? I come bearing gifts from Zeta Ritcouli. And you come to find out this other girl, she's been staying with Molly. That's her name. And she goes, I'm staying with her because I'm absolutely terrified of what she might do if we leave her alone. And then day 30, wearing a mailman outfit, which I thought was really funny. But here, this is Sam and I can't remember his boyfriend's name. I thought it was Sam and Tom, but I could be wrong. But anyway, Sam's the one that found the building last issue. And again, remember as we go back to the beginning of the book, how they said that David kind of notices things. He finds Sam's book of all the layouts that he drew. And he goes, okay, so that's the house. So what's that? And here we get a moment with him and Molly. She goes, no packages for me? No. He's just not going to let me do it, is he? He's really not going to. I'm sorry. It's okay. And you come to find out what, without even having to spell it out, which they do, you get the idea of what she's asking for. And there's a moment, where is it? Where David actually has a moment with Walter. And I have no idea where it's at. Hold on. Okay, we're not there. I thought I skipped it. Anyway, packages come. He comes to pick them up. And he does something. Like you kind of notice that even though he has that dark sense of humor and he may seem a little off, he does have a big heart. And he cares. And Walter looks at him sort of judgmentally. And David says, you could have just told us the rules, man. And walks off. And that's it. And I just love how there's these quiet moments like that with Walter and how people are starting to understand what they're up against in this house. Now, I'm not going to go into everything, but he has a moment with Molly. You see this. And then there's a very violent moment. He goes, we have to keep loving each other and look after each other. Oh, there's no hope of surviving all of this. He takes the straight razor to his neck. We all know Walter. There's no getting off this ride. And everyone freaks out. Now, I don't want to give anything else away, but there is a dark little rule at the end of this issue that everyone comes to realize. So, y'all, that's House on the Lake issue 4. And think about it. Overall, this book is taking place primarily in a house, and we're focusing on each character as they go about their day. And again, the symbols of each character. So this one represents David. That one represented Sam, I think, Ryan, and I think this one's supposed to be Rick and Sarah, the couple. But anyway, I'm slowly starting to learn that, so I had to say that just in case I needed to reference it later. You're not bored. You're drawn in. It's like a darker version of like Days of Our Lives or The Young and the Restless. And you want to know, how are these people going to survive? What the hell's going on overall? Where did this virus that wiped out the world come from? And that's what makes you want to keep reading this damn book. So if you all have enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is you'd like to get your books and your action figures. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Walter bell next to subscribe. That's where we continue to upload content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.